What's up guys, welcome to another video. So in today's video I want to talk to you guys about the importance of credit. So just right off the bat, the thing that I just want to stress is if you don't have credit, if you don't have any credit cards, stop watching, or maybe after you watch this, go out and get yourself credit and start building credit as early as you can. So I'm just going to go through this video a number of ways how this is super important no matter where you're at in your life, whether you're younger or older, or you're self-employed or you're working for someone. Just make sure that you have credit, and I'll go through some of the main reasons. So people think of credit cards first. Don't think of credit cards as free spending money. You still need to be very responsible and kind of treat it as like a debit card. So for example, when you get a credit card and you have your limit, before you make a purchase on that credit card, make sure that you have money in your bank to pay for it, so when that statement comes you can pay for it, and not the opposite, where you spend way too much on your credit card for stuff that you can't afford, and then you can't pay the bill, or you can only make the minimum payment. And then, as you know, credit cards have quite a bit of interest, and that will compile over time, and you'll just get into stupid consumer spending debt. So you don't use credit cards for that reason. You want to use them to pay them off, but at the same time though, you're building your credit. So for example, in the future, when you go and apply for a mortgage or a car loan, you're able to do so, and you'll get a better rate, and you'll get that that access to that money. So if that dream home or investment property or car that you really want, because of your good credit history, then you're able to make those purchases. Because when they look at your credit, it's kind of looking at your behavior, and they can kind of see if you're going to be a good or bad client. So for example, if you have credit for a number of years, you've never missed a payment, and you are able to handle your spending responsible, then they'll know that that habit is probably going to continue in the future. So they're more trustful in lending you the money and knowing that you're going to make those payments. Whereas if you spend a lot, don't make minimum payments, you're piling all this debt, they're not going to loan you additional money because you're not very responsible, and they're looking at your past behavior, which dictates how you're going to act in the future. So what I suggest is, again, I don't know how old you are, but no matter what, have 3, 4, 5 credit cards. What I do is I have like a Chase, American Express, MasterCard, Discover, all the big brands, and kind of accumulate them. You don't have to have like 40 credit cards, but I would have one from each of the major brands, and then divide it up into like how you want to use them per month. So for me, I started when I was in college, around 20, I think. That was my first credit card. So it's been about 6-7 years of my credit, which is still very short, but I wanted to start from an early age, and I've never missed a payment. And along with that, not missing a payment, I've always paid the full amount for that credit card statement for each of my credit cards. So nowadays, for each of those companies, you can check your credit score, and it ranges from like 300 300 is horrible, but from like 300, and the best you can get is like 850, which is like, it's really weird when they calculate your credit card score. It takes into account a number of things. One, how many credit cards you have, the length that you had them, the missed payments, the revolving credit limit. So for example, just real basic, if you have a credit card and let's just say the limit is $1,000 and you only use 100 of it every time, that means that your revolving credit is 10%. So 10 to 30% is a good amount. They advise not to be maxing out your credit card each time, which will be hard to do, especially if you have credit cards of like limits of 10, 15,000. But again, everyone's different, and they give you a credit card with a limit based on your past and your your job, how much money you make, do you have any debt such as like student debt. They take that all into account before they before they approve of you having the credit card, and then after that they determine an amount of your limit that per statement that you can use. So it's super important, guys. This is something that is one that you need to begin early. And again, it doesn't matter where you're from, especially if you live in this country, start. But again, once you get it, it is not free money. That's the most important thing. That's the most important distinction. Use it basically as a debit card. So I have a debit card, and that was obviously the first thing I've ever used when I opened up a bank when I started college. But I'm against using a debit card because credit cards are really cool, in which a lot of them offer free cash back. So for example, they offer every time you spend money on food or travel or restaurants, 2-3% cash back. So you can use that for like kind of like free money later, or you can accumulate it and use it for like a travel. They offer a whole bunch of like rewards and everything. So the only time I have a debit card is for pulling money out of the ATM, or if I just, I don't know, forgot all my credit cards at home. So I'm not a big fan. I don't really advise you using a debit card. I would say you need to have it for your bank account, but then use your credit cards to make your purchases, and then obviously make sure you have the money in your bank account to pay for those. So I still use my credit cards as like a debit card, but I want to use them for building credit and then eventually building that cashback return. So that's basically what I want to get to. So if you guys have any questions on this topic, this is really, really important. Let me know, because I've had some experience so far, and I can advise you on which are the best credit cards to use and which ones will give you the best for in terms of like rewards and cashback and all that good stuff. So again, guys, make sure you begin your credit journey as soon as you can and start building that credit. And then this is pretty much going to last through your entire life. And the sooner you do it, the better off you'll be. And make sure that you pay off everything to build that good credit score so that you can afford and be able to have more maneuverability in terms of like the big purchases that you plan on using down the road. All right, guys, let me know what you think. Send me any questions and talk to you in the next video. Peace.